We begin, though, with Maxine Stryker, who was in Annapolis for the 4-hour hearing this afternoon.
Lawmakers grilled those involved with juvenile services as well as police. But since this was not a special session and just a hearing when it comes to changing those laws on the books that many are concerned are escalating juvenile crime, the worry is no real change can come from this hearing today. Across Maryland, prosecutors.
We do need to expand the list of crimes that we can charge younger children with.
Police.
We're living in a time where, unfortunately, legislators, lawmakers, have decided that it's better to support the lawbreakers rather than those who are enforcing the law.
Even parents.
They need to stop making excuses. They need to start locking these kids up. They need to change the laws.
Are crying out for young people to be held accountable for crime.
Look what is going around.
Many are pointing the finger at two laws on the books as the root of the problem. The Juvenile Justice Reform Act, which limits those 13 and under to charges for crimes of violence, and the Child Interrogation Protection Act, which requires an attorney be consulted when a young person is taken into custody and their parents notified.
Ladies and gentlemen,
lawmakers returning to Annapolis Wednesday to discuss the crisis.
We've seen examples of prosecutors dropping not only juvenile crimes, dropping charges on juvenile crimes, but dropping charges not prosecuting violent crimes. Am I off base there? Because it seems that that is a major contributor to, frankly, why we don't see a lot of these legitimate crimes come to the system.
Republican Delegate Robin Grammer of Baltimore County questioning President of the Maryland Fraternal Order of Police Clyde Boatwright, who says accountability is missing as juvenile crime is escalating.
So I don't think it's a thing of dropping the charges. It's what happens from the incident to the person going before a judge or a master. That's where we're seeing the problem. Once a person is taken into custody, a young person is taken into custody, and they go through that assessment with the Department of Juvenile Services, if they are released back to the community on electronic monitoring, they're now able to, if they choose to cut off the ankle bracelet or they just choose to not abide by the rules, they're now able to reoffend. And that's what we're seeing. The same young people are being released back to the community.
The Juvenile Justice Reform Council also testifying Wednesday, fielding many questions about juvenile repeat offenders.
Unequivocally, the state is failing those children. Do you see the juvenile system as a benefit? And where are the holes that are causing these children to repeat offend, sometimes multiple times on the same day?
I don't want kids getting arrested on back-to-back days, and we should be responding to them.
Car thefts, which have been soaring across the state, especially in Baltimore City, where car thefts by juveniles are up 166%, were also a concern addressed. Several times, a story uncovered by Fox 45 about an 11-year-old connected to more than a dozen car thefts across the region who never faced charges due to the law was brought up.
Do you agree that we should be looking at a change to the law to include auto thefts, or just keep things as they are?
I think the idea that we're going to reduce auto thefts by prosecuting 11-year-olds for when it happens, I don't see the link between the two things. And to me, that feels like a real stretch. And I think just generally, the idea that the only means for accountability is through prosecuting a kid, especially at that age, I think is where our imaginations need to be greater than that.
After several hours of discussion,
my real concern is that there continues to be, at least to a small degree, some downplaying of the nature of the problem.
Delegate Grammer left with some frustration.
They need to stop saying there is no problem. Second, we really need to start to get hooks into the Department of Juvenile Services where they're failing. You know, we are failing not only the victims, but we're failing the youth that are involved in the system.
Grammer says there simply wasn't enough talk about the victims in these cases. We asked why lawmakers have not addressed the problem sooner.
It's going to have to wait for session. We've had at least 10 years of growing juvenile issues. So we should have stepped back. We should have said we have problems. Let's address those first. If there are reform measures, let's think about those after the system stabilizes.
The committee will be back to meet for a third time to discuss the juvenile crime crisis in December. In Annapolis, Maxine Stryker, Fox 45 News.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel.